All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Hi guys, Gillian Leivers here, just checking in with you. You all know me, the man fighting the grave miscarriage of justice.
Don't flinch. We're pulling the curtain back on the injustice on the Greenfeeds case, where verdicts were handed down, but justice was not served. So buckle up. This isn't just a broadcast, it's a reckoning. This is a case of a grievous injustice, and we want to understand how things went so wrong. Listen in every Saturday between 12 and 2 p.m. and hear how the story unfolds. You'll be blown away by its content. Only on Dreamcatcher Radio.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
Okay, we are back for Greenfeeds Injustice series. Phil, before we start, what is the episode number, please? Because I don't know.
I think it's 34.
34, sounds about right. The can you believe we're here?
No, I'd packed all my stuff away. I'd gone on holiday.
Yeah, I actually, when I told you, you know, after visiting the site, I was perfectly satisfied that we've done more than enough now. And let's move on and let other people have the opportunity to come on and cover this slot on the radio station. However, the I reneged on it, and retracted it for two reasons. One is for our listeners who emailed me saying they wanted to hear about the Romaniacs because we mentioned it a few times. Where I was like, what do you call it when you like prick tease someone in it, something like that? And then they don't get to hear, you know, what we've roughly mentioned. And is that the right word? It's the wrong word, isn't it, Phil? To be honest, but you know, when we suggest that this is coming and it's coming, and I suddenly decide it ain't coming. That was reason number one, because listeners wanted to hear it, and in fact, listeners also want to hear what Gillian Leivers said on the stand. The fact that these people that are haters on Gillian Leivers poked me by saying that I'm being silenced. And the fact that Ian's being silenced, it quite simply isn't true. You know, you poked the wrong person to suggest that I've given up on the Leivers case. I stopped and paused, and purely because I wanted to give someone else the opportunity to come on the radio station, so that's why we're here, to give the listeners what they wanted. You know, the interesting thing is the relationship between me and Ian is that Ian doesn't understand that, and I think his flaw in himself, and I do believe he suffers from PTSD as a result of this incident at Greenfeeds, that he can't explain himself. He's not read the paperwork himself, and he's hearing it, and he listens to these audios over and over again, and saying, you know, oh fuck, they should have said this, they should have said that, they should have said that. I mean, I don't know how you psychologically explain that condition, Phil. There's not a question just for yet, but just reminded me. And he gets so angry, and he he takes it out on me, and I'm, you know, for me it's like water for duck's back. I can give a toss what he says. I just want to get all the information out there as best as I can. So for example, I said Lee Mitchell the other day, and it should be Lee Marshall, right? I don't care. the fact is, though, the funny thing is, Phil, right? I had about 20 or so listeners point that out beforehand uh, in messages. The
Yeah.
it is
It
what
doesn't
it is.
help with there's two Lees, does it, really?
Yes, true.
It doesn't
The
help.
but
But
it,
you're right. He sort of says, I think I won't do this show. I'll sit in the background and I'll, and full well. I know full well we finish the show and we post it. Usually we post it to him first, just for so out of courtesy. But then it's like being in school, isn't it? You sort of get corrected afterwards.
it's like
No,
it's
you,
like
you weren't right about that, Phil. This happened and that happened, and
what do they call them? Backseat drivers, isn't it? Something like that.
yeah,
The
yeah.
but
Who's driving this car? You or your mother? That's the one. Yeah.
but he does make me laugh a lot, man. I mean, not many people can tolerate him. I can. And I think Ian's an amazing man. And Gillian, I just feel right. Just imagine this, yeah. When Gillian comes out of jail, and they literally want to get justice, yeah, right. What a force to be reckoned with they will be.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
So anyway, I mean legally in that respect. But yeah, how formidable they will be. They're going to need a lot of rest and recuperation.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very difficult for them, I think, to readjust to married life. Basically, being in the same bed, being in the same under the same roof, being in each other's company, all day, but every day, basically, it's going to be very, very difficult for them. I've tried it in the past, living away from home for 6 weeks at a time, and absence does not make the heart grow fonder. I'll tell you that. It really doesn't.
Absolutely doesn't make the heart go fonder. Yeah.
You might think it does, but it doesn't. And I was only staying in lodgings while I had a new job. I was learning the job. I was staying away from Monday to Friday, staying in lodgings and being well looked after. There was 4 of us in there. I remember she used to bring in like a whole apple pie and cut it into 4. And then I'd go home and there'd be no apple pie. I'd be going, what's going on here?
Saying that though, Phil, I was telling you a story yesterday. I used to send my wife on holiday for periods like 3-4 months, just so I could focus on work.
Just to get rid of her.
Yeah. And so yeah, that's true. I used to do that, because I was just I don't know, I was just work focused and that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's probably not the best thing to do, considering she's my ex, and that's probably why she's my ex. To not want to be around your wife all the time. But there is a trend though, isn't there, about that though, Phil, right? Where people live in separate houses, but they're the best ever couple.
Yeah, you do hear of that. Yeah.
So anyway, we need to get on serious stuff because how the hell do we get onto this sort of thing? Funny enough, I was doing recording Ralph Christie's series today, and I was talking about Greenfeeds, and we ended up talking about poo. Here's a question. See if you know this answer. Because I said to him, during the break, I had a friend of mine call me, and about something, and he said, "Brad, have you ever thought about poo?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, how come it comes out brownish and smelly when what you put in tastes great?" And I was thinking, I didn't know the answer.
I've got an opinion.
Go on then.
I'll have to have an opinion, won't I? That's why I'm here. Stick my 2 pence in all the time. Well, it stems from when I was a kid. And basically what people of my age group want to know is, why is there no more white dog poo? There was loads of white dog poo when I was a kid. Sometimes we used to mistake it for chalk.
Yeah,
Try and chalk on the pavement with it.
White dog poo though, that's when it goes crusty after quite a few days, isn't it?
Not necessarily.
No,
it's to do with diet.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, okay.
So I would suggest, the answer to your question
You've got
is,
me thinking there. You got me thinking on that one. You fucking made it even worse for me. The So what do you think the answer is? Because Ralph had an answer for me, and I'm not too sure. I didn't have a chance to check it out. What do
I'm
you
going
think?
diet, basically diet.
Right. Okay. Yeah. He said it's your blood cells deconstructing the food and your body basically getting rid of the crap.
I don't think it's your blood cells. It's enzymes in your stomach that break down your food.
Yeah.
Acids in your stomach.
Yeah. Anyway, the so that was the start of, well, it wasn't the start. It's halfway through the show. When I had a break, the that was the question, and we actually discussed it, and that's what Ralph's answer was. See, listen, right? You've got to have a sense of humor. The we can all labor over this all day long. We know Gillian's coming out, and and we're creating this what I call a court of record, so that when she comes out, she knows all the effort that people have been putting in the background to discuss her case and give recognition of the injustice. And they've got something there to work with. Should they choose? I'm not saying they should, to seek justice in relation to police, HSC, and the relevant people there that night. Wouldn't you agree, Phil?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's go for this. So, this is the infamous Dave Mariniak. He's the dad, isn't he?
He is the daddy. Yes, he is the daddy. Mike is the son. And Jackie, we're not actually covering tonight because his statement was rubbish anyway, not very exciting. Is a stepson, basically.
Yeah, this is the guy that was growing pot at Greenfeeds, which I don't think is denied, really. Even in my opinion, it's because there's a couple of drivers that mentioned it. Apparently went on to sell cocaine based on what Tim Walker said. And they had this little clicky group, didn't they, on site? No one denies that either.
Yeah, and we know a bit more about that because the actual canteen facilities at Greenfeeds were absolutely first class. They were absolutely immense. I can honestly say they're probably the best canteen facilities I've ever seen in a company.
Yeah, I must
but
admit,
this lot choose to eat aside in a shed. They don't want to be part of the main group, and their excuse was because the canteen was across a corridor from the office, and obviously people could pop their head in and ask them questions, and they didn't want to be bothered about work while they were eating their snap. Snap is a Nottingham term. It comes from coal mining, where the tin you actually take your food down on the ground snaps shut.
Oh, right.
You've learned something now.
Well, I also I learned years ago about Cornish pasties that basically they used to make them with the meat and veg at the front and apple pie at the back. So it was a whole meal in one thing in the coal mines. So did you know that?
Nope.
Well, there you go. I've taught you something there, and you're about 30 years ahead of me, Phil. The yeah, because I was quite surprised when you said how amazing their staff facilities was. But you visit loads of sites. I generally I wouldn't really pay attention, but and it was
most of the sites I visit are waste sites as well. So invariably, I usually, if I'm talking to the blokes, giving them toolbox talks or things like that, I nearly always say to them, just because you're working in shit doesn't mean to say you should actually live in shit. So keep these facilities clean and make them, appoint somebody for every day to keep the facility clean. But that facility at Greenfeeds was absolutely spotless. It was brilliant. Like being in somebody's kitchen, wasn't it? You got to admit, just like being in somebody's kitchen.
Even the top floor where Ian was based, it had the boardroom up there. He had his office up there. Had what I can best describe as a kitchen that I'd happily have at my house. Even downstairs had the shower and toilet facilities. It's not what you'd call a shit of a business operation, that's for sure. I was well surprised. The
yeah.
but saying that though, Phil, right? I went to the offices of AU Vodka. Yeah, I got invited down there like last year sometime. Oh my days, that is a whole new world. I know we're talking about something else, but oh geez, blow your mind for opulence. You know, it's like Donald Trump style. You know, plus plus plus. It's crazy, absolutely amazing. Their offices, and they got gaming machines, all this sort of gold everywhere, and that sort of stuff. Gold bars up front, and anyway, but yeah, you're right. I was really surprised, and that's what I was told you when you think about it, when you try and relive and it's always stuck in my mind that the deaths were inevitable, and the fact is they weren't. Something happened that day. That one day, nothing happened before, nothing happened after. Something happened that day, and yet the judge and the prosecution basically said they had a scant disregard for health and safety, right? And it was inevitable it was going to happen. But it's not true, is it, Phil? It's not true. Simply not true.
No, well, I disagree with that statement straight away that that Mr. Iqbal made on the steps of the court after the case. It was just really basically to reinforce the narrative, really. She herself had removed over 70 method statements and risk assessments from Greenfeeds and kept them at the police station. I don't know if she read them or not, or whether she even knew she'd got them. But certainly Greenfeeds employed 2 independent health and safety specialists to handle their health and safety. And I noticed one of those nut jobs who chasers on TikTok said, "Oh, you can't, hand over your responsibility to another company. That's not how it works." Well, why not? That's how it bloody works, because that's what you pay them for. You pay them to look at your business, look at the risks, and write risk assessments and meta statements and deliver them to the people. That's what you pay them for.
Yeah.
Ultimately, the responsibility is yours. They're right. You can't divulge yourself with the responsibility. But what they're saying is that Greenfeeds were scant. They had scant regard for health and safety.
Disregard.
Yeah, well, it's bollocks, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's bollocks. If you've taken the trouble to hire 2 companies and you've got 70 method statements and risk assessments, you can hardly be accused of being scant about anything.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, these retards, yeah, the apologies for people that are retards. Are basically saying that just because you've got the paperwork there doesn't mean that delegates you from your duties and obligations as a business, right? And that's my interpretation of what they're saying is, but that's not the point. The fact is, when you look at every element of the business, Greenfeeds have got their ducks in a row.
Yeah.
And you can't force people not to do stupid things.
No, you can't.
And something happened that night. I mean, you being, when you, with your specialty as a fake police officer, you come across all sorts of issues on site, and when you're doing your health and safety work and the like, and some of the stuff that you think could never happen does happen.
Well, it's absolute. I mean, if you want an accident, take a mechanical operation and insert a human being. As soon as you insert a human being, you're going to have an accident. It's absolutely true.
Yeah.
I mean, like I think I've said before, when I was working for a company, we had a program before Christmas of actually telling everybody how dangerous conveyors are. Absolutely dangerous conveyors are. Don't do this, don't do the other. Sign to say you've seen this video, blah, 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 blah. And then some guy in Germany puts his arm through a screen, a small, say, 6-inch hole in a screen to free something up on a conveyor and gets pulled through it.
Wow.
I mean, after the video, after I've been told how dangerous it is, what not to do, he goes and does that. If you want an accident, introduce a human being to it. You'll get an accident without a doubt. And it, some of it comes from boredom, from repetition. Keep doing this. You have a guy that's feeding steel under a guillotine. Eventually, he'll lose a finger because of the repetition, because he gets bored, he gets careless. So, how do you engineer that out? Well, you put guards in and things like that, to try and stop it. But it's very, very difficult. Where you get people, you'll get accidents.
So, having not read this, we're going to start off shortly. But the Romaniacs are also known by Ian to be saboteurs. When was the last time you heard that word, Phil?
Yeah, he accuses them all kinds of things, doesn't he? I personally don't go down that street. Right. I like to deal with things that I can see and prove and are absolute. I can't really go guessing, what they are or what they aren't. They certainly wielded a lot of power, and what I would say to the listener is that the Maruniacs certainly made the yard tick, and whatever they were up to, they were up to. But the yard was ticking. Greenfeeds as a company was operating and earning a lot of money, and that's why really Ian let them get on with it. Whatever they were doing, if they were nicking chocolate, I don't know. I don't give a car. I don't give a monkeys. But whatever they were doing, he let them get on with it because the business was running and making money.
I do you know what I think, right? Because I had this discussion with Ian at one stage, when I was really, really busy, and like he said, you need staff. It was what's the word I used? Is that it was a cost you just added to the business, because you needed a function, and you needed a crack with a job, so you just accepted knowing that they're probably doing these things, but you needed the job being done, and they had a lot of experience in the business. And
they had their operation.
Yeah,
that's the best way I can describe it. The Maruniacs had their operations within Greenfeeds. That operation was upset the day that Ian Leivers hired Stuart Brown as transport manager.
I believe you, actually. I believe you on that one. Yeah, I actually.
To the extent that even after the incident, when the guys died, Ian went to the Maruniacs' house and they asked him to sack Stuart Brown, and he said no. And that was the second problem, the second mistake, I think. First mistake, hiring him. Second mistake, telling them no. Because from that point on, all the attention went onto the Leivers with regards to this accident.
Were these guys part of the fake revolt that never happened?
Well, yeah. Well, there was Robin Neve, wasn't there? And Robin Neve claimed he went up to the office with Mike Maruniac and probably Dave Maruniac. He couldn't quite remember who went to the office with, but it was probably Mike and Dave, because he spent most of his time with Mike and Dave in the yard. Right. Yeah.
Okay, let's finally get going. What an introduction that is, Phil.
Yeah, well, the one thing I would say before we get going to the listener is we're actually looking at court transcripts, and they are very, very difficult, because there's no actual punctuation and distinction between who's asking and who's talking. So we're having to guess that to an extent.
Yeah,
so bear with us.
It's actually solicitor's notes, Phil. So let me just get going. Okay, which part do you want to play?
I'd like to play the part of the judge. No. I'll be whoever the barrister is.
Okay, you get going then. Sworn in, full name, David.
Yeah. So you used to work at Greenfeeds?
Yes.
Worked there for 20 years?
Yes, he worked there for 20 years.
Yeah. What did you do there?
He never died, Phil.
Sorry?
He's still alive. He worked there for 20 years.
Yeah.
There you go. Sorry, I'm starting already.
What did you do there?
Started working off on a pig farm. When that finished, went to mixing feed for other farms.
As a labourer,
Yes, so he started off as a labourer. All right.
the mixed ingredients that went in
Yes,
helped to load tankers.
yes.
Who were your managers?
Ian Leivers and Gillian Leivers.
Who ran the business day to day?
This is really interesting, Phil. Last off, Gillian Leivers, but when I started, I worked for Ian Leivers, both there when it was a pig farm.
Well, yeah, well, they were both there when it was a pig farm. They were both there when it was a feeds company.
Yeah, but during that period, the early days, she was running her hair salon, wasn't she, as well? So she couldn't have been there all the time. But the point being, as Ian said, I was the owner of the business. I ran the business.
Yeah. Yeah, he gets very animated about that even now, doesn't he? You know, these bloody drivers telling me it was my business, wasn't it? Yeah, I knew everything about that business. They can't tell me anything about it, you know. So he's absolutely right.
But you
when
think
it was running as a pig farm, I think eventually Ian lost his license or ability to own and keep pigs.
Something to do with pigs or something, welfare.
Yeah. Who was in charge of the pigs?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, again, there's something that has nothing to do. See, this is where people get confused, right? They go back to the incident that happened in 2005. I think it was 2005 from memory.
It was 2005.
God, well done, Brad. Bloody hell, that's a surprise, right? But that's got nothing to do with this case. It's got nothing to do with this case. The fact that Ian lost his license due to some animal abuse or something like that, it's got nothing to do with this case. But apparently related to pigs or something like that. That's the reason, you know.
I think what the inference is, if you can't look after pigs in a pig farm, you can't look after the pigs in a feed farm.
But he looked after this guy for 20 years.
Yeah, he did.
So
right. So when a pig farm, Ian and Gillian were there on time.
Both a lot. Both there at the start.
Last off, how long before the end of 2016 was Ian Leivers on site?
Quite a bit until Stuart Brown, and he was there a lot less. Heard from him now and again. That gives evidence to what Ian was saying. Yeah, sorry, I'm reading this, and as Phil did warn you, it's a bit difficult to read. So basically, what he's saying is, Ian was there a lot, but when he employed Stuart Brown, and remember, this is on the lead up to Gillian's and Ian's retirement, which makes perfect sense. When they employed Stuart Brown, I think what Ian thought, Stuart Brown was going to be a saviour, but I think it's the worst mistake he made ever, employing that man. And then he started to only hear from him now and again.
Well, it was Aaron Shelley that was going to take over the business, wasn't it?
Yeah, the accountant or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. So presumably, Stuart would know more about the operation, and Aaron Shelley would know more about the accounting side, and that's how he thought he was. He's going to have the accounts actually being in charge of the business. But anyway,
you go back one thing as well. You know, when you and I interviewed, this is how Ian minds work. It's just skewed because of his PTSD. When we interviewed Tim Walker, both me and you were like absolutely fascinated by him. And Ian's saying, I can't believe he said that. I can't believe he said this and that sort of thing. And then about a week later, he phoned up and said, that's an amazing interview that was. That was so helpful. And I didn't realise how grateful I should have been for Tim Walker. And Stuart Brown sacked Tim Walker and replaced him with two other individuals. And Stuart Brown come from a massive background with tankers and that sort of stuff. So again, so you have to play two people to replace what Tim Walker was doing. Again,
Yeah.
another mistake, which he now accepts, but he didn't see it at the time.
Yeah.
All right.
So Stuart Brown started early 2016.
Yeah.
In 2016, before Stuart Brown was employed, who runs the business?
Gillian Leivers in 2016, before Stuart Brown, who run the business, Gillian Leivers. Let's just go backwards.
She wasn't there for 150 days of the year.
Yeah.
So who ran it?
Who
Was it Gillian Leivers, was it? And that's the bloody, throwaway. These are like throwaway, things, aren't they? Nobody drills down into that, do they? I mean, we're sat here going, well, she wasn't there for 150 days. You want to ask a question, don't you? Excuse me, Dave Maroney, but she wasn't there half the bloody year. Who ran it the other half? But it's not there, is it? It's not there at all. There's no drilling down at all into
No,
anything.
and also, I'm just going backwards, Phil, right? Who are your managers? Ian Leivers, Gillian Leivers. Who's the managers, right? When the business started 20 years ago, right? I guarantee you, Gillian Leivers wasn't there. The boots on the ground when you start a business, based on Ian's knowledge, is him.
Yeah. He's already just said that when he employed Stuart Brown, Ian Leivers spent less time there. Saw him occasionally. We know that Gillian Leivers wasn't there half a year. So who the bloody hell's running the company? It's got to be Stuart Brown and whoever the accountant is, Aaron Shelley. Got to be, hasn't it? So the answer to that question is rubbish. It's narrative, isn't it? Who runs the business? Gillian Leivers. No, she didn't.
And she's the most least qualified person to run a business like that.
Absolutely. If it was how much peroxide to put on, she'd probably know that. But one end of a tanker to the other, she'd have no clue. No clue.
Yeah, actually, gone backwards slightly. Who were your managers, Ian Leivers and Gillian Leivers?
Yeah.
And who run the business, Gillian Leivers? I went to the freaking site, right? I know, right, without a doubt. I mean, you spent quite a lot of time talking to Gillian, right, since this started. Is that Ian knows the business from A to Z. Gillian wouldn't know. She probably wouldn't even know what size tires the tankers had. Ian could quote it verbatim, without a doubt.
Yeah. He knows the inside and outside of a pump, doesn't he? She wouldn't know what the bloody hell was going on about pump.
Yeah. He'd know about mileage, fuel cost. Well, Gillian probably know about that, I guess. Because she was doing the accounting. But he would know everything,
It was a bit towards the end when they had trouble with fuel cards and stuff like that and finance and stuff. But I mean, and that's when Sam Ramage also jumped on the fact that one of her invoices wasn't paid or was paid late, and that was used as a weight against them as well. Not only did they not have any health and safety, but they didn't even pay for the stuff that they had. Period. Anything they could use to stick a knife in Gillian Leivers, they used it. I'll tell you, they did. Despicable, really. Absolutely despicable.
Oh, it's beyond despicable. Let's try and think of a better word.
Criminal.
We are doing this pre-recorded quite late and I've had a long day. Egregious, maybe. I don't know.
Egregious.
Fucking disgusting. Anyway, go on. You can do the next one, then, because we have to go to a break shortly.
Right. So, okay.
Any different in
who ran the business after Stuart Brown was employed?
Well, Gillian Leivers was there, but Stuart Brown would come and give instructions. Oh, that's good. Okay.
So he's changing his story already.
Yeah. If anything major, Gillian would say, "I'll have to speak to Ian." There you go. Wow. I didn't expect this.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just repeat that. Well, Gillian Leivers was there, but Stuart Brown would come and give instructions. Now, Stuart Brown is highly qualified, right? if anything major, Gillian Leivers will say, "I'll have to speak to Ian."
Yeah. So who's running the business?
Okay, carry on. We've got a little bit more time.
So you didn't work in the office?
No.
Many occasions to go to the office?
Had to go the odd times if something wrong or called up the office, which coincides with what Richard Jacobs said.
Who would call you to the office?
Stuart Brown, Gillian Leivers, AF, I can't remember who that person was, would get you on the phone and ask you to go up there.
At the time within Greenfeeds, have people gone into tankers?
Yes.
Has always been the case in the 20 years?
Yes, always been tankers. Wasn't always road tankers. Sometimes it was.
No, that's an interesting statement.
On that point, we'll pause there. We need to go to a music break, Phil. As always, I'll let you propose a song and we'll play that now.
Okay, well, we have been playing in the past Bring Me to Life, but using the Irish folk version. So let's have the original, Bring Me to Life by Evanescence.
Oh, I love that song so much. I love that song. Thank you for playing that. We're going to play that now.
How can you see into my eyes like open doors, leading you down into my core, where I become so numb without a soul. My spirit's sleeping somewhere cold until you
Dreamcatcher Radio is about capturing and creating dreams through music, chat, and debate. Empowering expression, enriching society. A go-to place for unsigned musical talent. A radio station which listens to its audience. Free speech, vibrant, engaging. Stream worldwide 24/7. Events, competitions, promotions. Always keen to have a listening ear. Contact us. hello@dreamcatcherradio.com.
Dreamcatcher Radio.
Okay, we are back. That's definitely up in my list of probably, if I had a list, would be in my top 50. If I had a playlist as well, that'd be definitely up there. Such a powerful song. So we were talking about Dave Romaniak and his statement on the stand. We got to Phil last.
I'm gonna start by saying, how long before the incident were people having to go in more?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see where this is going now then. They were going in all the time. Tim Driver, Robin would go in solo. See, right. Okay, let me just finish a sentence here, right? Ask me to hold his phone, right? If you knew, right? I mean, Phil, in all honesty, right? Just work it out, right? If Robin was going in like he was, he would be dead within seconds. According to what actually happened, right? But if you knew it was unsafe to go into tankers, he's happily saying here, Robin would just go in solo.
Yeah,
and
also, not only
also,
that,
and also,
it'd give his means of communication for somebody else to hold.
It's just beggars belief, man. Beggars belief.
He does. And Tim, I'm not sure he was a driver. Well, he did do a bit of driving, but he was mainly the mechanic, wasn't he, Tim? Tim the engineer.
But if this is it, right? They were going in all the time. Who are they?
Presumably Tim and Robin.
Robin would go in solo.
But Tim was the one that said that you could actually die on the ladder, basically. As long as if you got a sniff of this stuff, that was you gone.
Yeah, and that was, and also, he mentioned the time that he went in. The only time that Tim went in, he had someone to supervise him, and he was in there and the tank was empty, aerated, and all that sort of stuff. And he was in there for 5 minutes, he said, or something like that, didn't he?
Yeah.
Because he had to do a task in relation to the pump or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, the tank had been vented and everything, hadn't it? I mean, he didn't really take an awful big risk, did he? But
No,
he did say that it was, that according to him, he did say that it was fairly toxic and that you could be overcome by fumes, basically by being by the hatch.
He actually said as soon as you open the lid, it would knock you out. That's what he said. And we've got no evidence to suggest it could or not, other than, but if that's the case, and if that's the case, though, right? Just thinking about it now, Phil, you mentioned that, yeah. If that's the case, they were going in all the time.
Yeah. So where's the long line of dead bodies?
Exactly. There'd be a queue of them, wouldn't there?
Ridiculous, isn't it?
You need lots of disposable employees.
Such a contradiction. It's not true. Yeah. Well, it is not true.
Well, it's clearly not true.
Simple as.
Okay.
Who would go in?
Okay, this doesn't make any sense. Feed
No.
separate, blockage in pump. If can't clean from outside, go inside and wash out with pressure washer. Actually, right, think about that logically as well, Phil. Right? If there's a blockage in the pump, how is that going to help if you go in the tanker?
I don't know. I really don't know. It's all lies, isn't it? It's just frog. I've never, it's just frog. There's no way you'd get me in that tank for a kickoff. Unless I knew I was going to get out, there's no way I'd get in for a kickoff. I certainly wouldn't give you my phone before I went in. That's just bloody stupid. I definitely want a ladder. I'd probably want a harness and a rope around me, but I wouldn't go in anyway. It's just craziness.
Yeah.
But like you say, if the pump was blocked,
Which you could
why would you go in? And opening the free flow valve isn't going to do anything to the pump, is it?
Which was external as well, Phil, by the way.
Yeah. Opening the free flow is not going to do anything. Washing up the free flow is not going to do anything. The only thing to do if the pump is blocked is to take the bloody pump off. Simple as. And that's not a very lengthy job from what I can gather. Undo a few bolts, take the pump off. If it's stuffed, put another pump on. It's not like there wasn't any.
So if we go back through, I was talking to someone a week or so ago, and I said you're very informed about your job. He was showing me around and that sort of stuff. And I said, how did you learn this? He said, well, my boss, I'm just going to make this name up, Peter, for example, showed me this. And I said, how do you know? And he said, Jack told me this and that sort of stuff. And basically that's how, if you think about it logically, yeah, like you just said about the ladder, right? If you were to go into tankers, everybody would say, well, on this day, we didn't use a ladder, right? On this day, we didn't use a ladder to go in. And that would be a change in circumstance to you would usually do. But these scumbags don't even say that. Because, normal, and then also the council in this instance don't talk about, well, thus far, I'm not read it yet. How do you go into tankers and how do you get out? And also, this is where I say this is my biggest gripe, is on cross-examination, the council have the benefit of all these witness statements. Why not ask him? He's been there for 20 years. Robin said, he's been asked to go into tankers with food product up to waist high.
Yeah. Oh, crap.
Which is extraordinary. Absolutely extraordinary. And also, the
crazy part about it is all they concentrate on is, as you'll find out later on in this interrogation, is was there any method? No. Were you shown this? No. Were you told that? No. Did you know it was dangerous? No. It's just bullshit. The whole lot of it is bullshit.
Utter lies, yeah. It's gut wrenching, isn't it, Phil? Actually, gut wrenching.
Well, basically, they're taking you for an idiot, aren't they? Is basically what they're doing. They're taking you for an idiot. He's been there 20 years, and he doesn't know it's dangerous.
A bit like Richard Draycott saying he doesn't know how to use the weighbridge.
Yeah, very difficult, that wasn't it? Perhaps his index finger was strained on that day.
There's only about a dozen buttons on it.
It's crazy.
You can't. I'm dyslexic, right? But I don't use that as an excuse. I'm also colorblind as well. I can use that as an excuse, I guess, to not identify witnesses. I guess you could do that as well, Phil. Huh? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Okay, pump and free throw. Yes. What is that? What would you think that meant?
I think he's talking about cleaning it out with a pressure washer.
Okay.
You can't clean the pump out with a pressure washer.
Okay.
You can open it up and then fire a pressure washer in it.
Yeah. That pump apparently is very, very powerful.
Yeah.
If you applied it, yeah.
Well, got Vallely. Was it Vallely to do a statement? Basically, I've got a brochure. I mean, he went through nuts and bolts, everything. This Valley bloke to tell you just how powerful his bloody pump was, but none of it was used. I don't think.
Okay.
None of it was used. I can't see a piece of pasta as blocking it anyway. I can't.
No. I mean, I have. You know, when I talk about, even like jet washers are really, really powerful.
Yeah.
But I've seen pumps. I'm not, like if you ever attempted to put your hand in front of it, your hand's gone for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. The power of them.
Yeah. Okay. Go on. Look at.
So look in the bundle divider for page 23. Can you see the back of a tanker and feed pipe and open pipe? Is that the free flow?
He says yes.
Is it possible to empty the tanker through the free flow using gravity?
Okay, I'm trying to read this. Bear with me. Oh, this is interesting. I think I've got the gist of this. I have said if nothing in there but free flow pipe before pump. But as pump dragged feed, bits of gravel and something would land in the free flow. There was talk about putting on a box to stop it. Now we know that gravel can't go through the food processing mix. It can only be added by a nefarious individuals.
It's got to go through. It's got to go through 10 mil. We know that.
Yeah.
And then it's got to go through a fine mesh. We know that because that fine mesh was taking out the straws from the orange juice, wasn't it? So how gravel got into the tank, I really don't know.
Well, pretty obvious, really. Someone put it in there, added it in.
But anyway, what he's saying is that basically the pump would drag things like gravel into the free flow. Don't know why it would do that, because the free flow is not even attached to the flipping pump. It's completely separate.
All right, you're next.
They're talking about putting a box in, which they actually did do, didn't they? Ultimately. But could block from the free flow from the outside.
It's an interesting response here, Phil, right? Yes.
How are you going to do that?
Well, sometimes. Anyway, carry on.
So you get blockages in the pump and the free flow.
Yes.
Robin had gone in, and Tim.
Yes.
Had you?
Actually, how old is this guy at the time? Do you know?
I don't know. I could work it out. I mean, I'm going to have to delve into files.
Oh, okay. He said yes. Now, here's a perfect opportunity, right? How did you get in and out?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, okay.
How often?
Well, when it. Oh, right, he talks about it here. Yeah. Okay. Well, when it was in. It doesn't say that, but anyway, I'm going to try and fill in the gaps. Was only me and Mike. As I got older, so younger would go in. Mike was regular. Tim, Robin were regular. See, this is the other thing as well, Phil. This is what the listeners need to understand. If you have to clean the tankers out after every single delivery, the business wouldn't work. It wouldn't function properly. No. It just wouldn't. The business model didn't suit it. But so basically, this idiot is saying that he went in all the time. He sent his son in there as well. Oh my face. And then the conglomerate of drivers on that night said as soon as someone went into the tanker, they dropped dead.
Yeah. And also, There was no mention of them ever going in a tanker on their timesheets.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, actually.
Because I went through all their timesheets for 2016, and wasn't a mention.
Really? Yeah.
Really?
I remember you telling me. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
this is funny because it reminds me of what Robin Neve said, and I'm probably going to misquote him, but it doesn't fucking matter because he's a dirty scumbag. He's a liar. The how regular? It would be a few times a month. Do you remember when Robin Neve said, my most infamous month? You quote me, you know,
week.
if you. Huh?
It was week.
Okay, was 3 times.
Three times in a week.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, there you go. You're better than me. The God, that man. Jeez. The
Yeah, this is the guy who thanked Gillian and Ian for their time and trouble of employing him, and then said he was being bullied. His mother actually spoke to Gillian and said, "Can you stop them from bullying him?" And she assumed it was the Marooniacs that were doing it and called them into the office. And when she dropped it on their toes, they just smirked at her, told them not to, to stop bullying him. He decided to leave the business, thanked them for all they'd done for him, said he didn't want anybody to come to his house because obviously he was shit scared of somebody coming to his house. But then, a couple of years later, he's quite happy to go to court and stab the Leivers in the front. I wonder what changed.
Stab them in the front. Is that worse than stabbing in the back? I've never heard that.
Correct.
Oh, right, okay, got you. All right, okay, I've never heard that before. Okay, here you go. Carry on. When you've
been inside, you told you to go in.
Mostly office, Gillian Leivers, Ian Leivers, and whoever in the office. Then time. But think about this, right? He's the yard manager, yeah? Right? Why would he need to be told to do something like this?
Yeah. You see, according to him, he wasn't in charge. In the pecking order, Mike was theoretically his boss, even though he was his son.
Oh, really?
He comes across as, like I think I said, he comes across like Benny from Crossroads. He's sort of like, he's just a yard hand, he's of no importance whatsoever. The fact that he's actually the head of his household, and therefore ipso facto, he's highly unlikely to be ordered about by his own son. Sort of like muddies the waters, I think.
Or whoever in the office 11 times. Again, it just opens up so many questions, doesn't it? Really. The if Gillian Leivers wasn't there, or Ian wasn't there, which they've clearly established in their evidence that they were not there that much. What does it mean? So just as an example, Phil, I'm just opening my mind here, yeah? If I was doing this day to day, right, and this was regular and that sort of thing, right, you just crack on and do it, wouldn't you? Right? If I phoned, say, you and my boss, Phil, every day, and tell you to go into a tanker, you'd get pissed off, wouldn't you?
I'd say, why do you keep ringing me?
Yeah.
wouldn't you? I'd go, why do you keep ringing me? You've got a block tanker there, you know what it is, get in and clean it out.
Yeah.
If that was the norm.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah. Because I know I couldn't cope with someone calling me all the time.
For 2 minutes, yeah.
What do you call it? Groundhog Day. It'd be like that Groundhog Day, wouldn't it? The who specifically told you Gillian Leivers and Ian Leivers?
Yeah, I mean that's just beautiful, that, isn't it? Beautiful. I mean, who else would we have expected?
Yeah.
That's the point, isn't it?
Imagine calling, right, Gillian and Ian on holiday and saying, I need to go inside a
Yeah.
tanker.
Yeah. Is that the sea I can hear in the background? Yeah.
It's not even feasible.
Is that a seagull?
And you imagine Ian, if he had a phone call like that, how he'd react.
Yeah.
Okay, this is interesting. Next one, Phil.
Here we go. We're going to get into it now. What about after Stuart Brown employed?
He mostly relayed everything he had to do. He'd come down and relay it, but this time I wasn't having much to do, so it would come through Mike, but from Stuart Brown.
So Stuart Brown was told what he had to say, and then when Stuart Brown told Mike, Mike was told what he had to say. Yeah, all roads lead to Gillian.
What a numbnuts. Okay.
Then it starts, doesn't it? Then it starts, Brad said. So
does it?
Any written procedure?
Yeah, no. Right. This is also really, really funny. So if we went old school, right, you probably didn't have many method and risk assessments. Probably. So this guy has been working there for 20 years, seen the business evolve and develop, and it's a bit like Richard Draycott saying didn't know how the weighbridge worked, didn't know that there's new policies and procedures in place, and he literally carte blanche says no.
Yeah. So any written procedure.
This gets even better now. I've just seen this next one.
Yeah. Safety measures.
No, this is the bit, right? This is the bit that guts me the most. Is that no? Okay, right. Any safety procedures? No. Right. Did you ever ask why there's no written procedures? This is the bit that which guts me, because this is where I believe Ian, where the council let Gillian down. They're just moving straight on. Let's just quickly get this case over and done with. Just fucking answer the questions, make the jury look. This is a straightforward case. The safety measures. No, there's no safety measures.
No.
Bill, we've been there. Did you have any equipment? No.
No. What equipment? What type of equipment are you talking about?
I'm guessing they mean PPE, but got the invoices. And quite simply,
I think it's probably they're relating to breathing apparatus, or rubber gloves, or GIMP mask, or something.
But the other thing, though, right, Phil, think about it logically, yeah. If for example, like one day they couldn't follow, so they needed specific PPE, blah blah blah, whatever. The tanker would basically, you couldn't use it, right? If it was a requirement for them. I'm laughing. If it was a requirement for them to go into the tankers all the time, right? And then like you say on their timesheet, there's no record of them going to the tankers. And the fact is, you will see regular purchases for PPE in relation to something specific for them having to go into tankers, like you said about I can't remember the word you used, where they need canisters and all that sort of stuff if it was a toxic environment.
Yeah, well, if you needed breathing apparatus, which you would do if you had specific breathing equipment, you'd need a tank. You normally strap it on your back. You strap anything on your front or your back, you ain't going through an 18-inch hole. Yeah. You'd have to lower the tank in first and then follow it, or lower you in first and let the tank follow you. But you're not going to lower it in with it fixed to you. Now, does that breach any close entry requirements with regards to breathing apparatus? I don't know, but I would think it might do.
Oh, you're on about confined spaces, yeah.
Yeah.
But this is look, right. We got a stitch up by the employee. We've also got a stitch up by the council here. You can read it. Okay, I can see what Ian's on about.
When you say the council, you mean the executive?
No, I'm on about the barristers who.
Right, okay,
yeah. Sorry, not the county council. No.
No.
I'm on about the barristers. Sorry, I apologise.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do you know any gas in the tankers?
You did, but you always put head in, and could mostly tell if anything there as used to be obviously rise. You'd use pressure washer to clear gas. Can you do that, Phil? Can you do that? Use a pressure washer.
I was going to actually research this. What he's saying is that if you fire the jet wash into the tanker, it actually removes the gas.
It does.
Does it?
Oh no,
I don't know.
I thought you just giving me the answer there. Oh, right,
No,
sorry.
that's what he's claiming. I was going to research it. I don't know.
Sometimes would go with ladder around and would use it. See, how can you get away with saying sometimes I use ladder? How else do you fucking pole vault in it? There has to be a set procedure, you know.
And sometimes it was dangerous and sometimes it wasn't.
Yeah.
Okay, now I don't know.
Oh, God, man.
And then according to this, you put your head in, but then according to Tim, you're gone.
You do the sniff test.
Yeah, you put your head in and you're either gone or you're not.
Yeah, but that goes on here, right, Phil, right? You got this fucking prick here, right? Right? You know. This is a Crown Court case. Sometimes would go with ladder around, would use. How would you take the ladder up there and would you be supervised? The question. But this gets even better. So at least you could get out if anything went wrong.
You do that if you're unconscious. How do you climb a ladder if you're unconscious?
Exactly, yeah.
Crazy. Anyway, they then go on to say, was it dangerous or unpleasant?
Jeez.
Just unpleasant. Was it dangerous? It was just unpleasant.
I don't know what to say about that. I'm lost for word. Just unpleasant. Yeah.
This gas that can kill you was just unpleasant.
Oh my God.
That's like saying that Novichok made your tea taste funny.
Just unpleasant.
Any tests carried out on the gas? Nope. Any training? Nope.
Yeah, you carry on because I'm still gobsmacked by just unpleasant.
Aware of any health and safety? Begins with N. Nope.
All right, let's just pause. If we go back to the other statements that we've got, and going back to this is massive, Phil. This is massive. How did they die then? If it was just unpleasant,
unpleasantly.
Please.
I don't know. It's just rubbish, isn't it? He's talking rubbish. No wonder he was offloading a lorry that didn't exist.
I can't leave this at the moment, right? Was it dangerous or unpleasant? And they said it was just unpleasant. How did they die then if it wasn't dangerous?
What's he using as a scale? What's on the unpleasant dangerous scale?
So he's saying it wasn't dangerous,
just unpleasant.
So what happened that day then?
Became very unpleasant.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if you're being humorous or realizing what is just being said.
It doesn't make sense, does it? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
What I'm saying is, right, what I'm saying is this could massively open the case. Because it wasn't dangerous. They did it all the time, yeah, allegedly, right?
Yeah.
We know that they didn't, but he's actually said here that it was just unpleasant, like
Well,
uncomfortable.
let's take that a stage further, because when Jake came to cut a hole in the tank, was it just unpleasant then?
Well, Jake
Because
did it, you know. Fair play.
because he said, "Don't cut a hole in the tank, Jake, because it'll blow up."
Yeah.
So it was slightly more than unpleasant then, wasn't it?
It
was explosive.
We know they're lying about going in the tankers all the time, right? But he's admitted to going to the tankers, and he said it's just unpleasant. And the barristers asked, was it dangerous or unpleasant? And he said, just unpleasant.
And then he's focused on whether they knew there was any training or any health and safety and blah, 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 blah. He's completely missed the fact that, you know,
Jeez.
it was just unpleasant. You wouldn't need any breathing apparatus if it was just unpleasant.
And the barristers just, you know, happily carried on.
Yeah.
Oh, my days. Oh, my days. Oh, I've got shudders. The, oh.
Yeah, it's a bit sad, that, isn't it? So the mix put into the tankers, the mix contained dry ingredients.
Go to a
and
break.
wet.
I need a break. Because this has just blown my mind. I'm not doing for dramatics, but I definitely need a break just to think about what I just read there.
Okay.
Can you introduce the song, please?
Yeah, let's have, funny enough, I Am Healing by Sia.
I love Sia. Yeah, what are you doing with these songs tonight? These are songs that I loved. You know,
And I've got a cracker to finish off with. It's a real educator.
Well, by the sounds of it, we're going to have to need 4, so you need 2 more.
Two? Blimey, okay.
Phil, I really cannot believe, right? Was it dangerous or unpleasant? Just unpleasant. What does unpleasant mean to you?
A fart.
Not very nice, like someone farting or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't believe I just read that. Geez. What was your song called? What was it? I know it's Sia. Who was it? What was it?
It's called I Am Healing.
All right, let's play that now.
I've walked through shadows, carried the pain. Silent battles left me standing in the rain. The weight of memories I couldn't release, but broken pieces can still find peace. Every scar tells a story I've survived. Every tear was a lesson keeping me alive. I am healing, slowly breathing, finding strength in the cracks of my soul. I am rising, not just surviving, letting go of what I can't control. Step by step, my heart is revealing I am healing. The echoes of sorrow don't haunt like before. I'm learning forgiveness, I'm needing it more. The silence inside me is starting to sing, a fragile beginning, but hope takes wing. Every scar tells a story I've survived. I am healing.
Okay, we are back. I'll be honest, Phil. I'm shaking like got shudders. I went to the bathroom, put water on my face because I just couldn't believe what I just read. I'm not trying to be dramatic, um, but the when we look through that, think back to the autopsy, um, the men had injuries that is not related to a fall or slip or anything like that. Head injury, one of them had, didn't they?
Gavin, yeah.
Yeah, and if you were falling into pig feed, which is like slush, you wouldn't have a head injury, and your head couldn't go that low to the bottom of the tanker. You've also got all these scrapes at the side of the tanker, and they were tall enough to get themselves out the tanker, or with aided assistance. This is absolutely groundbreaking. I did not expect this whatsoever. Trust me, if I knew this was coming, I would definitely have told our listeners. So I'm going to try and carry on, but I'm emotional, to be honest. Okay, your question next. Any tests?
Any tests carried out on the gas?
No.
Any training?
No. But see on that question, fucking Phil, I can't get over that. But any training, right? Do you know, right? You get like you buy a IKEA bit of furniture, yeah. You open the manual, and they tell you how to build it, yeah. How can you just carte blanche say no training? I mean, do you have a driving license? Would he deny the fact that he had training to get a driving license?
He drove a fork truck. He must have been trained on that.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's trained by a third party, I mean, me personally, I believe time served people are the best trainers ever. And he just gets away with saying no, and just unpleasant.
The best way to learn is on the job, isn't it? Most
Exactly,
of the time.
yeah. Who needs educated idiots? You need people that
Practical idiots.
you need well, not necessarily an idiot, but you need practical people. All right, aware of.
So read the mix put into tankers.
See, this is another thing, right? No, right. Be aware of any health and safety, right? And no, I'm not aware. Are you? You don't know anything about health and safety. You don't know nothing.
Yeah.
You don't know nothing. You don't know nothing about health and safety. And that question just gets allowed to move on. How can you not know anything about health and safety? I mean, if when I go to work, I want to come home that day. If I'm around my friends, and bear in mind, he's got family members there as well. And, who's got a scant regard to health and safety then, if you know nothing about health and safety?
Lots of the employees, from the sounds of it.
Well, he's saying he knows nothing about health and safety.
Well, it's a stupid question. It was a stupid answer, wasn't it, really? It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't say anything, does it, really? It's just adding to a narrative, really,
It
isn't
just
it?
shows that conveyor belt. I'm so angry, Phil. So angry. The conveyor belt. The aware of any health and safety? No, I'm not aware of any health and safety. Do you not have any respect for yourself? Yes, I'm aware of this. I'm aware of that, and I'm aware of this. I'm aware of that, and I know where the frigging toilets are, and I know where the hand washing station is, and all that sort of stuff. And it just says no, and he's allowed to pass on it. Yeah. I'm so frigging angry, Phil. So angry. Yeah. I feel like ending this episode, to be honest. But I'm going to try and continue. Okay, you're next.
So read the mix put into tankers. Did the mix contain dry ingredients and wet?
Yes.
What sort of wet?
I'm going to try and carry on. Coke, milk, beer, anything being disposed of. What the fuck does anything being disposed of? This is getting ridiculous.
concrete, rubble.
Yeah.
At Greenfeeds, 3 tankers for mixing feed.
3 tankers of mixing feed. No, mixing tank went from mixing tank. Just say if lorry takes 20 ton out, mix in there, and then next tank. Lorry pulling out and holding tank. Those are those 2 black ones at the back, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But
It's not pulling out 20 ton though. It's pulling out like 28.
But it irrespective of that, it went through the mixing tank to make sure there's no large items in there and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. All right, go on.
So mainly the mixing tank and holding tank.
Okay, 3 tankers mixing tank. Yes.
So the dry ingredients first. I don't know what this is about. This is crap.
Yes.
Well, I don't know enough about the operation, but I would have thought it would have all gone in together. Dry and wet. But anyway, not an exact science.
Yep.
So what in was always different. So what went in was different.
No, this is where it gets complex, isn't it? Really, it's not helpful. It just says yes, but he obviously must have answered the question.
A lot was coke, which was on site, but some tankers brought other liquid and put that in other mixing tank. Another product, Rumenco.
Yes. One thing I found really interesting about Greenfeeds, right? I never knew this about like confectionery companies and Coca-Cola companies and all that sort of thing, is that they had so much waste.
Yeah.
I never knew that. I learned that was a learning curve for me.
Yeah.
And they needed to get rid of it, and they gave it to Ian.
Some of it they will have paid Ian to take, and some of it Ian might have paid to bring in. It's just a balance, really.
Yeah. Well,
depends how beneficial it was to what Ian was doing. I think Rumenco is the name of the company, by the way.
Yeah. I googled it. Yeah.
Yeah. So their product was like a molasses, which would be absolutely fabulous for a pig, wouldn't it? It'd love that.
I think pigs like anything, but Ian's basically saying this was great. To what the nutritionist said.
Yeah, but I think on the run up to the incident, 2016, the thing they're all complaining about is that a Rumenco product, which was what they call it, a lick tablet, something like that. That was it was pressed into like a disc, and the animals used to lick it, but they used to break in manufacture, and that's what Ian got in buckets, I think it was.
Well, he had quite a lot at one stage, didn't he? And he said if he could, he would take more, he said.
Yeah, there were 2 bow and arrow to empty the buckets, apparently. They wouldn't empty the buckets. So Ian used to sell those buckets in situ to farmers. He used to just sell it as it was. So he acted as like a middleman with those buckets. I think that's what it was.
Right.
But generally speaking, Rumenco was a molasses. But they were trying to say that it separated out and left a sandy residue at the bottom of the tanker. And that's what was blocking the pump or blocking the free flow.
Yeah. We're only on page 3, by the way. You know this. I
told you we're gonna be here for the rest of the year doing this.
Well, I didn't expect this. All right, this is you, the bottom of page 3.
Another product anyway. So this is a feed product.
This is what you pretty much just explained, actually. This they make licks for cattle and sheep in solid buckets.
How did that affect what was in buckets and the tanker?
It was very heavy. If you mix cake, it would stay mixed, but Rumenco would drop we knew that as built up in holding tank. Hey, actually, Phil, that's a good point, actually. Right? This is a question we need to ask Ian. Right? Did they ever need to clean out the holding tankers?
Yes,
Because
they did.
it's the same product, right? The and how did they do that?
Well, for kick-off, the holding tank was open,
Yeah, I know that bit.
from what I gather. So you weren't in an enclosed space. But just let me say that on the run-up to 2016, they were using the molasses product from Rumenco, not the bucket stuff. The bucket stuff they refused to empty into the process. That's why he had a load of it on site. I think they said they buried 200 ton of it or 20 ton of it or something at the top end of the site.
Yeah, but we couldn't find it. We looked.
No, he couldn't get them to. He couldn't get them to offload it either. They were too lazy to do it. So he used to sell it direct.
Okay. There you go.
So were there increased in blockages after Rumenco?
He said yes.
When did you start using Rumenco?
1 year before incident.
Correct, but that was the molasses, not the lick stuff.
It also wore the pumps out as hard grit in it.
No, I doubt that very much.
Yeah,
I think it was the lick stuff that had the potential to be hard wearing, but I don't think it was the molasses. Anyway, did you inform any management?
Yeah, but it was wearing the mixers out, blades. If some were in big chunks, if clumps to spinning blades get bag or that wore down, it wasn't good stuff to use, causing more wear and tear. Can you explain what he's just said there? Because I'm just trying to.
I think what he's trying to indicate is that the material from Rumenco could end up in the tanker in big lumps. And what I'm saying is there is no way it could end up in the tanker in big lumps.
Gets even better next, Phil. I've just read this. Go on, ask the next question.
Who did you tell?
Whoever in the office. I shouldn't laugh. Mainly Gillian. When we know half of the year she's on the beach. And Stuart Brown obviously could show them, but nothing would come of it. How is that fucking possible? Phil, I'm angry. How is it possible? Because if the tankers didn't function, the business wouldn't exist.
Correct.
So nothing would come of it.
And if you've got a tanker sat inside that shed, business stops.
Yeah. And you'd have no clients because the clients were desperate for you to turn up on time and collect their crap. The mainly Gillian, but she wasn't there for half of the year.
So Stuart Brown, obviously.
But nothing would come of it. So all right. So now in me using plain fucking logic, right? So the business is dead then, isn't it? Because nothing.
Yeah.
That's it. It's gone. Game over. The business.
It's just lies. They're all lies. I mean, there's a great saying in industry, and it says, "If it ain't written down, it was never said."
Right. If it ain't written down, it's never said.
Yeah. If it ain't written down, it was never said. So you would have submitted some kind of report, wouldn't you? Or somebody would have written it down.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So I was thinking, well, that doesn't work in contract law. that's what I was just so basically what you mean is that if it's not recorded, then in the timesheet diary, whatever, I didn't. Yeah, the thing is, you think about it as well, right? I did nothing this day, because the blockage.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Because I was stood watching Robin Neve in a tank.
Yeah.
The other thing is they do say in their time sheets that they would do clean out tanks.
Yeah.
So they were cleaning out these tanks. But That's the only tank they referred to.
So let's just take listeners, right? This is really important, really important. The who did you tell? Whoever's in the office, right? But there were 7 people in the office. Is it 7, Phil? At
There
least
was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6. Okay, fine. I was close, right? But mainly Gillian. But mainly Gillian wasn't there.
I forgot her. She would be 7, yeah.
Oh, I was close then. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. But the and also, jeez.
So let's crack on. Do you remember what you told about the cause of the blockages?
Remember what? No, we could only say what we see. Drivers would come with a load, they couldn't get off, so we would go and help them.
Right. Before Stuart Brown was employed, did you make complaints?
Well, it used to come.
I think he's referring to Rumenko again.
Yeah. Well, it used to come in, but didn't go in the mix. But as we got less cake, would just put anything in. More and more stuff wore out. Okay, go and carry on. Any?
Doesn't sound like very sort of like specific, does it? It makes you wonder what FEMAS would say about this. Any complaints before Stuart Brown?
I'm still in shock about the previous 2 comments, to be honest. Not the last 2, but before. All right. Yeah, many times when more about pigs, upright grinder, when bloke come about machines, he said for it to wear out in that time must have been pouring sand in. What the hell?
I think he's saying that the Rumenko stuff was wearing the equipment out quicker than it should have done.
But then on Greenfeeds, I had Tim Walker. I must admit, right, I spoke to a friend of mine about this. He runs a skipyard, and I said, "Do you have a full-time fabricator on site?" He said, "No." But Greenfeeds had a full-time fabricator, and in the end, there are 2. He said if they got issues, they just call them out as and when. I know it's different to tankers and that sort of stuff, but the reason why I think Tim Walker was there, we need to ask at a later stage, I guess, was because he was constantly involved in the business, developing new ideas and new equipment and all that sort of stuff. It's not normal to have full-time fabricators on site.
Yeah. He had 2, didn't he? Yeah, so.
Well, he had 2.
But I mean, if the pump on the tanker was the pinch point, then it would stand to reason that you would need 2 fitters, because they wouldn't be just stood with their thumbs up their backsides in between. They would be taking pumps off, refurbishing them, changing the lobes, having them ready, so that when you got a tanker that came in that was blocked, you run through the process, don't you? You try and jet it out through the free flow, open the free flow, nothing happens. Give it a prod, nothing happens. Jet wash it, nothing happens. Go to the pump, put it in reverse. If nothing happens, unloosen the pump, jet wash it out, free up the lobes, put it back in. If it still won't offload, change the bloody pump.
I saw a diagram about these lobes and that sort of stuff. And in one of the witness statements, one of the actual farmers one day changed the lobes.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Greenfeeds were doing the delivery.
Yeah.
Which suggests it's probably not that difficult. It'd be difficult for someone like me because I only use a pen. And that's about it. But
I don't know about changing the lobes. I certainly would think changing the pump would be fairly straightforward. I think it's undo a few bolts, take bolts out, take pump off, put pump on, put bolts back, tighten them up. There you go. I would have thought, but who knows? but it was a very powerful pump. And like I say, I think we were chatting beforehand, I've got a whole statement from Vallely about his pumps and what they're capable of. He was quite proud of his products. Basically, he reckoned he could doddle this job. But if you start chucking 20, 30 mil aggregate in there, it's going to have a problem.
Yeah, and if
you would have to sabotage it to do that.
Yeah, if you think about it logically, right? If Dave Mariniak and Mike Mariniak were following the process correctly, there's absolutely no way that gravel would get into the tanker.
No, but we weren't just talking about gravel, were we? Look at that photograph that you showed me where there was, I think there was a nitrile glove in the mix on the floor. Yeah. It looked like a sort of like an animal had thrown up on the floor, and there was stuff in there that hadn't got a tooth mark on it, wasn't there? It was like a whole nitrile glove, whole bits of this, that, and the other. If that came out of the mix, I mean, there's only one way it could have got in there, and that's somebody putting it in.
Yeah, that
couldn't have gone through the process, because the process had 10 mil holes, and then it had a screen. There's no way it would have gone through the process.
Yeah, and I think that come from Lee Marshall, that one. But then you go back to the seagull. There was a seagull in the tanker apparently, but
yeah,
and this goes back to toxicity. Animals, right, have a strong sense of smell, and animals would not go in. For example, I walk my dog. It will eat pretty much anything, right? But it won't eat toxic stuff. So because they've got this sense of smell. So why would a seagull end up in the tanker? But they said they found
it hadn't got a ladder to get out.
Oh, even you're on one tonight, Phil.
I know.
But even the where the farm is, I never heard any seagulls that day, were there?
No. I mean, I could imagine it, because I mean, if there's food around, you usually get scavengers, don't you? I could have understood it more if there was a pigeon, because I mean, they're terrible. But seagulls are the same. Seagulls are terrible with food, but it wouldn't fly into a tank, would it? I mean,
no. This is the point being, it was accepted that a seagull was in the tanker. So you basically, they open your lid, right? The this is how ridiculous it is, because these were accepted. You open the lid and the seagull jumps in and dies, right? And that was used as evidence that Ian didn't know what was in the tanker. Anything would go.
Yeah. Plus, it was highly dangerous, because if it can kill a seagull, it can kill a human. The atmosphere would be toxic, wouldn't it?
We should have done this witness statement almost halfway. I can't believe we left it so late. Yeah. Because the only way a seagull can get in there would be from the drivers, right? The only way, like you say, that glove could get in there is from the drivers or the yard staff. That's the only way, because otherwise it's impossible.
Yeah.
Because if you imagine, how can you have some gravel, just some, in each load? Why not lots of it?
You might have chucked that stuff in the mixing tank. I suppose if you dropped a nitrile glove in the mixing tank, it could end up being loaded onto the tanker. Could it? Yeah, it could.
Think about it logically, Phil, right? So if you go back to I think it was Richard Draycott, or one of the statements, they said they went when they got the new tanker, they found this new pipe or valve, and they found some gravel in there,
yeah.
And they went to the office and showed it to the office, and Gillian, they went to Gillian apparently, and she said it's impossible. And then said wait for Ian, right? If that was the case, why was that all the time? All the time.
I don't know. It's all lies, isn't it? But I mean, they did
I know it's
put
a
a
lie.
box.
But I'm thinking now that again, Ian's right. They threw it in.
Yeah, I mean, on the basis that the gravel would be heavier than the feed, they did have a box inserted in the end to catch the gravel.
Mm.
So they were taking a bucket of gravel out and showing that to the people in the office. According to these people, I don't believe any of that. To be truthful, I don't.
Yeah. Where are we at?
So we're at free flow. Can you get a broom up? Not without a blue pill.
I mean, how do you alter this? Okay,
Yeah,
I've got his answer.
I think I've seen this film. Yeah, but there is a bend as it goes up up the tank. Can't get a broom around.
Ian's actually done a video on this to explain. In yes, there's a bend. I mean, it's like a toilet trap, right? Yes, it bends as it goes.
Yeah.
Sorry, Phil.
We're effectively talking about an S bend, aren't we? Which is where we're the mirth. You can't get a broom handle up an S bend, basically. You can get up so far. But,
yes. But
yeah.
I mean, he's got the size of what's the size of his pipes again? Was it because it's the largest? Like when we're speaking to other tanker drivers, his is actually the largest they've ever experienced. It's 6 inches or something, wasn't
it? Yeah. But the free flow wasn't that, was it?
I could be wrong, but it was bigger.
The free flow was used to load it on as well.
Normally, it's like 3 inches the industry uses or something like that, and he chose to use 6 inches. And that's what the ladies like, don't they? But this is how ridiculous it is. I'm being ridiculous because this is how ridiculous this is.
So on the 22nd, where were you working?
All around the yard at the time was a loading lorry at the other end. The lorry didn't exist that he said he was unloading. That many lorries coming in, everyone had split up, so stayed by lorry, so wasn't near the shed.
Well, we know this is a load of rubbish because the CCTV has detailed exactly what vehicles were on site and what vehicles left site. And there was no lorry on site that he was offloading at all. Proven by the CCTV. And he can't even say what vehicle he was offloading. He can't. I don't recall him ever saying what he was actually unloading, whether it was pallets of Coke or pallets of beer or what. We don't know. I think that should not have gone untested.
Hey, do you know what about? We know it didn't exist, Phil, anyway. But something we don't know is when drivers or deliveries come to site, do they hand in a ticket to the office? Anyway.
According to Mourinho, they usually keep them to themselves, don't they, till the end of the week?
This is really, really interesting. Next. Go on, you go.
So where were you working? How did you notice something wrong?
Gone in as Gillian Leivers were there, had borrowed the van to get something for Lance. Lance disagrees with that. And they put sofa in. I'd called
thought it was a piano or an organ or something.
I'd called in the office to see if I could do anything about it. That's when I found out something had gone wrong.
What then?
I don't like the fact that he just got a pass on that, yeah.
Yeah.
And he just says casually here, went down the yard. People were dead in the tanker by this point, apparently.
Yeah.
And he just went down the yard, Phil.
Yeah.
You know, I just went down the yard casually. Can't remember
According to
exactly, but by that time, NC
Nigel Curtis.
on top of tank went up, could tell. He shook his head. I could see. Oh, right. Okay, this is interesting. Oh. So he went on top of the tanker as well.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. I could see Gavin, couldn't see Nathan. Gavin, grey and blue. How could you see if he's grey and blue? And that
I really don't know. I think that's a load of bollocks as well, because he was face down according to Nigel Curtis. He was face down. How could you tell he was blue?
Hey, look, right. This
Perhaps the back of his head was blue.
This is beyond belief. This is beyond belief. It was that bad. Couldn't breathe in or out. Took breath full on. So basically, right. What was the word he used before? It was remind me, Phil, about the when he's in going cleaning tankers. What was the word he used?
Yeah, unpleasant, wasn't it? Isn't it?
Unpleasant, yeah. Right. So it's unpleasant. Right. Took full breath on. Might have passed Lance Ladder. Hard to remember. How can you? You know, the thing is, Phil, right? You think about this, right? When Steve Hunt contacted me, yeah, and said he wanted to come on the radio station, I didn't contact him. And he organised Richard Draycott come on, and Steve Hunt told me he is there to stand up. Well, we actually said it in the interview for the Maniacs and others. Yeah, right. How can it be possible that they say they can't remember, right, between them all, right, all these different people, yeah, and he's saying he can't remember, right? Yet they're all friends.
It must have been pretty crowded on that flipping tanker, mustn't it? Because you've got Nigel Curtis up there, you've got Dave Maruniak up there, you've got Lance up there.
Well, that was obviously later. Lance come on at the last minute, didn't he?
But he said he might have passed Lance the ladder.
Yeah,
so Lance must have been up there.
Yeah, but that's what. But the point being, how can you not remember? Two people had died. I mean, me personally, if I was going to court to give evidence, I'd be, have my notes, get it right and correct.
You'd have replayed it in your mind a million times.
Exactly. And you talk to your friends who you're in contact with and saying, am I right about this? Am I right about that? Or whatever. And
see, even Jack was hanging around there at some point, wasn't he, according to this? Because he's saying Jack and me went to the back end. Jack pressing the rod, pushing the broom in, all types of things. It did go in the end. It freed. So obviously the problem was between the end of the pipe and the S-bend. That's what was holding back 6,000 litres.
Okay, we've only got. This is going to be the end of this episode. It goes on to say all types of things. The thing is, again, the strap's not mentioned, Phil, which bothers massively. Yeah, the jack pressing rod, pushing broom in, all types of things, and it freed up in the end. Bear in mind, they were there for 11 minutes before the police report, and the office were notified. Then a case of trying to get to them, asked if they could drive lorry out. What does that mean?
They asked if they could move the lorry out because there'd be more space, I reckon, and more air, I reckon. But, I mean, I don't know. More light, possibly.
Yeah, two drivers came with burner saw, but said couldn't use because of gas. Jake the bricklayer cut hole left. I'm guessing that means left and right. Across the top, small amount of steel in left. I used a forklift to push metal back. That's true. We know that's the case. All of a sudden got through. We could see Gavin. We pulled Gavin out, but couldn't see Nathan. You helped extract Gavin from the hole. Yes. We pulled Gavin out. Blah, blah, blah. All right. We're going to leave the listeners on a cliff edge because what is fascinating to come is the next bit. Because I know this because Phil's told me it in previous series about how Stretch Armstrong suddenly managed to touch somebody in the tanker, which is impossible. It's physically impossible.
But this is the point where we've got 2 dead operatives, unfortunately. According to others, I think Nigel Curtis was one of them, they said that they could only see Gavin. Now, Nigel Curtis is on top of the hatch. He's got full view of what's below him. He could only see Gavin. So they're presuming, well, Nigel's presuming, because he knows that Nathan's gone in. He knows that Gavin's in because he can see him face down. They're presuming that one is on top of the other.
Okay, we need to go, Phil. Can you play your final song?
Yeah, okay. I was going to give you some culture, but since we're going to have to crack on with another program, I'll save that and we'll go with Night Owl by Jerry Rafferty.
Okay, we're going to play that now.
Night comes down and finds you alone in a space and time of your own, lost in dreams in a world full of shadows. Down the street, the neon light shines, offering refuge and hope to the blind. You stumble in with no thought of tomorrow. Yes, I get a little lonely when the sun gets low, and I